let's get into the best bets. As is tradition, we start with last week's winners first. Unfortunately, neither of them are here this week. It was our two guests. This is the second consecutive week where this has happened. So instead, we go to the fresh blood first. G-Stack, the last time he gave us a best bet on the show, it lost by 100 points. This is your chance for redemption. You're not Bob Marley, but this is your redemption song, G-Stack. Who's it going to be this week and why?
Can I martingale? Can I like double up the value of this team so that if I'm 1-1, I'm still profitable, or is that cheating here?
We're going base 1 unit plays here.
All right.
If you want, you could shoot an underdog on the money line, something like that. It's completely up to you.
Trust me, if we could do that, I would have done the Vegas Dave strategy like 7 weeks ago.
That's it. 2-12 with the profitable. Just keep going in the hole. All right, I'm gonna spare you the fact that Buffalo has been in win mode for a month, and what they got through was a murderer's row of schedule, and now they control their own destiny. We all remember Buffalo injuries to their defense and how they started leaking heavy oil. Then they made a trade at the deadline for Rasul Douglas. It's probably the best single trade of the trade deadline this year. Since his arrival, Buffalo's defense is 8th in defensive EPA per play, 5th in dropback EPA. That includes games against Cincy, Denver, Jets, Philly, Kansas City, and Dallas. So a really good mix of top offenses and a couple duds, I guess, the Jets. The one thing they don't do well is they still can't stop the run. They're 30th in rush EPA. The Chargers can't exploit that, though. They are bottom 3 in rush EPA. They're second worst team in rush success rate. We all remember making a big adjustment when Joe Burrow went down, and we said, Cincinnati's now a bottom 5 team. What we got wrong was that they still had good coaching that people like to play for. They still had a lot of capable playmakers. They still had a good O-line. The Chargers have none of that. They are a dead team. Their playmakers are Keenan Allen and Josh Palmer. Their O-line now has lost their backup center, Will Clapp. I don't know how many teams have a capable third center. This is going to be problematic. Their defense is dead. Since Joey Bosa went down, 27th in EPA per play, 27th in success rate. I know what you're saying. The Raiders game is skewing that, but even if we take that out, still 24th and 25th in both those metrics. This game has blowout written all over it. And outside of a Josh Allen pick 6 fest, I can't see how Buffalo doesn't pull away. They have figured out James Cook is a dangerous weapon as well. The Chargers don't have a way to take Stephon Diggs out of the game short of full double the entire game. And if they do that, the offense is going to open up for everyone else. On the other side, Easton Stick is going to have problems because, like the Dolphins, the Bills do a great job of generating pressure, top 7 in pressuring dropbacks, and they're bottom 12 in blitz frequency. This means Easton Stick will be under pressure a ton, but also seeing 7-man coverages. This has disaster written all over it. And then finally, this game may be in LA, but at best, they're getting a neutral crowd. And at worst, Buffalo fans will travel well and take over the stadium. This entire handicap is assuming Keenan Allen plays. If he doesn't, I feel even stronger about it.
All right. G-Stack saying, screw you, situational Suuma. I don't care about the new coach. I don't care about the team off the blowout loss. I'm going with the Bills, minus 11.5. Hopefully, G-Stack, you get back into the winning column this week. Suuma, we all know that you took last week off to ensure that you don't suffer as many losses as Hitman this season. Professional move. Totally get it. I actually respect it. But you're back this week. There's nowhere to run or hide. Best bet of the week. Who's it going to be and why?
It's going to be the one that I maybe like the most on this show today. Minnesota Vikings +3 at plus money. I like a lot about this matchup. I think that Jared Goff and the Lions offense are going to have a tough matchup because the Vikings defense plays exactly the style of defense that Jared Goff has struggled against this season. I think Brian Flores is a very smart DC who is really going after opponents' weaknesses. And I think that's what we are going to see in this one. So I would not bank on another 30+ burger by Detroit here. And on the other side, I mean, Nick Mullins, he's not a great quarterback by any stretch, but I think that the Vikings with Kevin O'Connell have put together a very strong foundation where even a guy like Joshua Dobbs was able to execute for the first 3 games there. They got a very decent offensive line with strong tackles. Justin Jefferson is getting healthier. John Addison's good. The Detroit Lions defense is not good at all. I think that the Vikings offense should get their fair share of scores in this one. And that way, I think it's going to be a very competitive, tight game. And I personally cannot get to +3 at plus money in this one. So I like the Vikings here at down to a flat 3. And yeah, let's get some purple pain in the Lions' face this week.
All right, Suuma going with the Vikings. I think, every time we do this show every week, I think I've seen it all behind the scenes. But we have a last-second best bet switch from Hitman this week. It did happen previously because of a line moving on air. But in this case, there's been no movement. He just says behind the scenes, F it, I'm going with this. Let him know, Hitman, who it is and why.
Well, originally it was going to be Denver, but I bet Denver. I want to win Denver, so I figure we'll keep it as a lean. But I did bet this one also. I like the Browns -2.5. I'll just say I think that this line, once the CJ Stroud news becomes official, gets to 3. I know that NFL reporters have had an absolute abomination of a year on getting stuff wrong, so there's maybe an outside chance he does play. But I've heard some stuff. I heard that he had to cancel his charity event on Tuesday because of the symptoms that he was still having. He obviously didn't practice today. So I do think that it's a very, very, very strong likelihood that Stroud is not in this game. And I just think that Houston is a bottom 5 team with Case Keenum at quarterback, and they're closer to what last year's team was than what they were playing as earlier this year with CJ Stroud, who was really bailing this team out with just a ton of insane efficiency. It's a bad defense. The defense, since their week 7 bye, has allowed the 3rd most yards per attempt. They're a pass funnel defense that's facing a Browns team that has been throwing at 4%, 6%, and 6% above expectation recently. The Browns' run defense is allowing 0.56 yards before contact per carry, best in the NFL. Probably going to put Case Keenum in a lot of 2nd, 3rd, and longs, where the Browns' pass rush is 2nd in the NFL in pressure rate. And then just the injuries that Houston has along the go of CJ Stroud. Losing Tank Dell was obviously a huge injury. Nico Collins didn't practice today, so losing your top 2 receivers. And then the defensive injuries they have as well. Probably not going to have Will Anderson or Blake Cashman in this game. So I think the line closes 3. If you're going to fade it, at least wait until post, in my opinion, and take that Houston +3. But we're going best bet Cleveland -2.5.
All right. And Hitman did misspeak there earlier. He was going to take the Patriots, not the Broncos. Patriots +6.5.
Yep,
for those
correct.
of you who are looking to fade, just trying to clear it up, clear the air for them so they don't accidentally get on the pick that you wanted, just in case. I'll end it off here. I'm going to continue with this Bears defense that I think is really good. And I think people are understanding that now. Not interested in laying the points with the Bears, but I'm going to go under 44.5 in the Bears Cardinals game at -114. That's good all the way up to -123 at the 44.5 price. I think it's a very tough matchup for the Arizona offense, specifically for Kyler Murray. He typically wants to face more man coverage and cover 1 so that he can use his legs as a secondary option. Chicago rotates in a lot of cover 2, a lot of cover 4 quarters into their zone scheme. Kyler's been very poor against those types of defenses this season. Marquise Brown re-aggravates that heel injury last week. His status now in doubt. Arizona, while they do like to try to run the ball, and it's been very inconsistent for them this year, the Chicago defense has been very good up front in defending the run. And overall, this defense has just been playing at a very high level since acquiring Montez Sweat and being fully healthy on the back end. The other side of things, I know Arizona's defense is bad. They gave up 45 to the 49ers last week. Everyone gives up a ton of points to the 49ers. This is not an ideal matchup for Justin Fields, in my opinion. Arizona plays by far the most quarters coverage in the entire league at 34%. I mean that by far. No other team is in like the 25% range. Similar to Kyler, Fields does not want to see a lot of zone coverage. He wants to see man use his legs. That's not what Arizona does. They play very low rates of man and very low rates of cover one. Coming out of the bye week, they did get both starting cornerbacks back as well. It's not a great defense, but it's a healthier defense than it was earlier on in the year. I anticipate Chicago trying to run the ball a lot in this game with some mixed success. I don't anticipate the Arizona Cardinals being able to move the ball successfully in this one. So give me the under in the Cardinals and the Bears game.